is all around us. One of them is the river. Qualities that make a healthy river is determined by its flow, water quality, habitat, and food energy. For example, to check to see how clean the water is, you can examine the water visually, chemically, and biologically. Healthy water should relatively have transparent color, natural smell, and large algae blooms. There should be no oil sheen, trash, nor dead fish floating in the water. To observe chemically, water should have abundant nitrogen, phosphorus, and oxygen, and less pesticides, heavy metals, and polychlorinated biphenyl. For habitat measures, the river should maintain natural ecosystem processes and sustain riverbank vegetation along the majority of the river's length. The composition of the bottom of the river should consist variety of soil and plants. Healthy rivers will mostly be located around natural area. The more variety of macroinvertebrates and other large animals there are, the more healthy the river is. On a rainy day of August 25th, our class went on a trip to the Tancheon River. Tancheon River is one of the longest stream of water that goes through Seongnam and meets Han River in Seoul. The place we visited was Seoyeon, where Tancheon flows straight through the park. Because of the pouring rain, the current was very high. Majority of the river was covered by trees on its sides. The color of the river was the mix between gray and green, and the flowing river didn't smell directly, but when we poured water into the cooler, there was a smell of sewage. There was no oil sheens nor dead fish, but there were trash floating in the water. The composition of the bottom of the river were soil, decomposed insects and plants, and few trash. There were few unidentifiable aquatic plants and thin branches other than submerged logs. The edges of the river were partly vegetated, and there were man-made materials such as concrete ditches along the stream. We could see few riffles when the stream was flowing. The land surrounding the river was the park in Bundang, which is urban. Not many plants were growing in the water, but rather on the sides. When we observed the water with the microscope, we found some microinvertebrates that look like cranefly larvae and riffle beetle, which are semi-sensitive critters. But we could not locate any larger animals such as fish, turtles, and frogs. I think the health of the Tancheon River is relatively in a good shape by looking at the flow and habitat. The plants on the sides of the river and discovery of semi-sensitive critters were the vital indicators. The color of the water was also relatively adequate. I think the biggest reason for our river not being the healthiest is because of trash. Health of Tancheon would have been much better without trash, because then there will be less smell of sewage and more living species and plants. The healthiest river would contain even the most sensitive species such as dobsonfly, alderfly larvae, and more. Although I think our results are not wholly reliable because we took samples from only 1 or 2 locations of the long river. I think Tancheon River is overall very healthy regarding the fact that it is located in the urban area. This lab taught me many lessons about the health of our river, and I hope we can make the health of Tancheon much better.